Hi, my name's Kate Williams, and I'm going to show you the anatomy of the bass. So this is the basic parts. This is how to pick it up, how to hold it, and how to tune it. In these continued lessons, then you'll learn more about fretting patterns, playing notes and rhythms, and generally how to play bass in a band. So for right now, I just want to start with the names of the equipment. Over here, there's my bass. Right now it's strapped into its case, and I just have the case leaning against the wall. And I still have the neck strap on because I don't want the bass to fall out. I think there might be a dog joining us occasionally. I hope you don't mind. Right here next to me, this is an amplifier. This is actually just sort of an all-purpose small amplifier. A bass amplifier is something that you would plug in if you really want to get loud, low bass tones. If you're going to just practice, it's great to use one of these all-purpose ones. If you're going to use a bass in a band, then you'll want to have a bass amplifier. Guitar amps will give you a little bit more of the high range and lots of volume. Bass amp makes sure that your low range is nice and loud. Also, we have a tuner. This is a pedal tuner. This happens to be the one that I have. But they also make just small little box tuners, and they'll have just a little screen on them and a dial. They also make little tuners called snarks, S-N-A-R-K, and those can just clip on to the end of a bass or a guitar or a ukulele, and that will allow you to tune it there. I also have a 1/4" cable. This is an instrument cable. This one has an angled end, and then here at the other end, it's just straight. So the reason they call it 1/4" is that is this width right here. So if you took a ruler, it would be a 1/4". So this is also how we plug our bass into the amplifier and how we plug our bass into the tuner. So let's start by talking about the parts of the bass. So when you get your bass out of the case, you want to unsnap it or unzip it, whatever kind of case you have. And then you want to pick it up on the neck right here. So you're nice and steady and just come straight up with it. Okay, so we're going to come straight up. I'm going to support it by holding the body here. Then once you're sitting, you can put the bass across your lap. And then I'm going to put this strap here over my shoulder and around the back. And then now the bass is firmly on and we're hands-free. This part right here, this is the headstock. So it is this piece that goes, this big wood piece that goes all the way to the end. These are called tuning pegs. There's 4 of them on a bass. And there's 1 tuning peg for each string. Then you'll notice there's 4 strings. You'll see the way I'm holding it, the biggest string, the fattest string, is on the top, and the thinnest string is on the bottom. And these are in order: E, A, D, and G. All right, so we've got headstock, tuning pegs, strings, and then this part right here that goes all the way down, this is the neck. These lines separate frets. So these are the frets of the bass. And the little dots here are just little shortcuts so that you can help see your frets a little bit better. And then over here on this end, this big silver part here, this is the body. And then here we have a volume knob, a tone knob, and a jack. And the jack is where you plug in your cable. What I want to do is make sure my volume is all the way down. All right, so let's just repeat that real quick. So we have headstock, tuning pegs, strings. The neck is the wooden part. The body is here. Knobs, volume, tone. Some basses and guitars have a 3rd knob. Really, the only knob you're ever gonna really need is the volume knob. Don't even worry about tone, just for now. And then the jack down here at the bottom. Hopefully you don't have any questions so far, but you can always rewind if you forget what the parts are. Now, I'm gonna carefully take my bass off, come out of here, and then I have a bass stand right here. So I'm going to put my bass on the stand so that it's safe and it doesn't fall over. If you don't have a stand, or put it back in its case and handle it very gently. So if you're not going to touch it for a while, put it in its case and keep it safe. The next thing we're going to talk about is the amplifier. It's pretty basic amplifier. This one is already plugged in, and then it has a volume knob on top. All you have to do is find the power button. So you've got it plugged in, power, and volume. That's easy, straightforward. So next thing we're going to do is tune. So I'm going to pick up my bass again. So I want to take one end of the cable and I'm going to plug it into the jack. I'm going to take the other end of the cable and plug it into the side marked input. You'll see on the tuner there's usually an input and an output. If there's only one jack, that's where it goes. So we're going to go on the input side. And then I'm going to turn my volume all the way up and turn the power on the tuner. Okay, tuning. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play each string just with my right hand, and I've got a pick in my hand. So I'm going to play one string at a time. And then the goal is to get that line right at the center, and you'll see if I get it in tune, the other lines will come join it. Whoop. And what I'm doing to fix the pitch, let me try the second one here. All right, see, we are right on the center. And you can see the tuner says it's the note A. There we go. So what I'm doing is right here, if you need to change the pitch, you turn the tuning peg. There we go, and it hits right in the center. So you do that with each note, and there it is. So that's how you tune. It's as easy as that. And the importance of tuning, these strings move. They get hot and cold, and they move, and they're not always the same every time you play it. So every time you play, you plug in the tuner first, tune it to E, A, D, G. The guitar player will tune, and the keyboard player, they don't have to tune, so we want to make all the notes match the keyboardist. Now we're going to plug into the amplifier. So I've got my volume knob on the bass turned down, and then on the amp itself, there's a jack called input. And so I want to plug my cable into the input jack, and you want to make sure you plug it all the way in. And then I'm going to turn the power on. So now I want to turn my volume on the bass up to full. So you want to go all the way up to 10. And then we're going to turn up the volume on the amplifier. So now we have sound. There you go. I hope that you have gotten the basics down on what a bass is and what all the parts are. Let's just recap really quick. So we have the bass, the headstock, the tuning pegs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 strings, 1, 2, 3, 4, and those strings are E is the low one, A, D, and G. And you notice every time I play, I put my hand in the strings, and that will make them stop vibrating so that they're quiet. And then the neck, this is the whole neck. This is the body. These are the volume knob, the tone knob, and the jack, where you plug it in. And then we have the amplifier here. We have the jack, the other end going into the amplifier. The power is turned on, and the amp is plugged in. So as soon as you're done, you want to turn the volume on your bass down, turn your amp off. Always make sure the amp is off before you unplug. And now you can unplug, take your cable out, and then you can put it in its case and keep it safe. I hope you've learned something from this, and I'm so glad that you're part of Omaha Girls Rock this year. Thank you.